So far we have discussed about the templates which we use it at educational institutes, and the publisher is not say outsider. They are the maybe the institutes, the universities. However, now the topic which I am discussing, the publisher is not your institute. They are outside people. They are not only national, they are international publishers. So there is a standard. Every publisher have their own standard. They are not local people. And earlier they used to publish in a printable form, print media, but now it's almost nobody is doing that, maybe because of the cost. So this is all about digital. Your contents are available digitally on public domains. So lifelong, right, years and years, generations and generations, your documents are available on the public domain. The whole world is referring. That's the reason nowadays the citation, the indexing has become important, that how many people have referred your published paper has become a criteria for giving the weightage to your papers. And they also not only referring, they also cite your published paper in their publications, in their reports. So how many times? The another problem is, since somebody else is publishing your work, the bibliography part, the references part, they do not like somebody's published journals in their published work, right? If I am publishing, why should I refer, why should I recognize my other party publisher's work, right? So I prefer that if you are publishing in my journal, your references also should belongs to my work, right? My company's work for last 15, 20 years. How many we have referred, how many we have published. You also should cite the same thing. So I think you should take care of these issues also, because generally people doesn't want to advertise somebody, some other publisher. They want to recognize, because nowadays this has become a criteria for grading, so indexing. So they would like to have citations also from their own publisher. Like Springer, for example. Springer, they want to publish, then all your references, majority of the references should belongs to Springer. Elsevier, Web of Science, or IEEE, IEEE. So every publisher have, generally, it's not a rule, but still is a unspoken thing. Okay, so that's one thing you should keep it in mind. Second is copyright. Institutes rules are there, UGC norms are there, your degree can be cancelled if you are copied. But since this is an international issue, if you are copied somebody's contents and then if the complaint is lodged, then it's at international level the action is taken. Entire world, that means your name, your guide, your institute, all three names are communicate to the worldwide authors, publishers, saying that these three people are banned because they are copied. So you are becoming a terrorist at the international level, terrorist, not a local copied thing, copied person. So why do you want to become a defamous worldwide? That's a big problem, risk. So avoid copying the things, use plagiarism check softwares, because as I said, it's not a printed work, it's a digital. That means these plagiarism check softwares are verifying all the websites, online contents. So it's very quickly they can find out that that kind of a algorithms are inbuilt. So take care those issues. Okay, now let us see three types of, rather four types of styles in publication of the papers. One is called digest. Second is conference, journal, transactions. So what is a digest paper? A digest papers are invited articles generally, right? Some good authors are there, or sometimes no, what we call as a short research. So those articles are digest things. Maybe in a 4 page at the most you are supposed to describe. Since it is a short articles, Springer generally encourage these things. They want you to write it in a single column text. So how it looks like. So it's like your assignment, like we have seen, single column. But the difference is here you have not the chapters, report has chapters, thesis has chapters, not the papers. Papers doesn't have chapters, papers always have sections and subsections. And the sections also you see all capital letters. You don't need to type capital letters. On its own it will convert into capital letters. Abstract you can see bold, sections have italic numbers, and so on. So the articles doesn't have any keywords, and the starting character won't be in a bold or a big font. That these are the some observations you should note it down. But these are the things taken care by the latex itself. Now you see we don't say figure, we say fig dot, and of course the caption, and they will be referred. Every figure should have a caption. All the references should be referred in the text. Rest of the things are same except the difference of single column, sections and subsections. You can also divide your page into multiple graphs called subgraphs, subplots, subtables. At the end you can have references, same standard. Alright, so rest of the things are as usual. That's the difference as far as the digest paper is concerned. So if you want to quickly see how many files are there, as already said, we have used external files like logo, subfigures, all other things are external. Let's see the main file. Let's not go by the other files because we already seen. So in the main file, now look at the major difference quickly. What you can see is that one column, document class is one column, and in the bracket now see it is not a report. If it is a report, then it will create the chapters. But it is a IEEE transactions, one column. That is the document class. And some packages, of subfigures and all you have to use because you are dividing your page into number of sections. And begin document, now title, your paper has a title, say title. Abstract, say begin abstract, end abstract. Sections, subsections, okay, and references. Figures you can see, and the figures centering some attributes to the labels, and we'll have a caption, aspect ratio. So rest of the things are same. Equations have captions, they should be referred in the text. So So all these things are there. But you see, we have not mentioned, right, any other files, because other things are external files like logo and all. If at all, if you want any figures, right, like we have discussed, these figures, plots, any images, any your experimental photographs, maybe digital storage oscilloscope output files, they are not part of your main file, they are external files, right? Anything, it's a included, right? It's not a copy paste. We have a habit of putting importing the images, right, in Microsoft Word. That is not there here, because this editor is a plain text editor. Only text you can type it. You cannot import any other fonts or animations or images. They are all external files. They can be included, but they are external files, and you should use the commands to include the external files. So that is the only difference I'm again and again saying. And then use the commands begin and whatever the, if it is a math symbol, say omega, hat, whatever, pi, these are all the commands. I will show you where the commands are there. You refer the latex commands. Okay, so that is the one difference of writing a digest paper. Let us see some other templates of a conference paper. A conference paper is, as you can see, is a double column, and there will be a what is called author's block below the title. Others will have affiliation with the email addresses, and then abstract will be there. Then as usual, that double column format will have sections and subsections. There you can have rest of the commands are same, like no math symbols, right, and how to include the figures, plots, tables. The commands are same. That's the beauty of it. You don't need to learn these commands again and again. Once you are aware of it, just one command will convert single column to double column, isn't it? References, everything is same. That's the only difference you should remember. Author's block and the double column is the conference paper. In the beginning of the introduction, you see no highlighting the first word or some, those things won't be there. Okay, so let us see how the commands looks like in double column. Earlier we said single column IEEE transactions, but now you see IEEE transaction, but here what is the document class? We said conference. Okay, the moment when you say conference, naturally no keywords, no paragraph start in the beginning, means first word won't be the bold and big word, right? Those things won't be there. And no thanks, nothing, end of the conference paper, because it's not a some 3 to 4 years of your work. It's a maybe a small work, conference papers, so that's not required. And generally it is of 6 pages, so no keywords, no para start, no thanks, and it's a double column. Author's block will be there, but not about the authors. Separate block won't be there in conference papers. In journal papers, like I have shown you earlier, author's biography is also there in journal and transactions. Now see, first time we have said author's block. You see author's block. It's a different commands you have to use in latex. So this will create a separate block for authors affiliation. Okay. Rest of the commands are same, abstract, but these are all sections. Though we didn't give all capital letters and no Roman numbers, but it will take care of that, assigning those things. Whenever there is a paragraphs are there, say paragraph, PAR, begin figure, symbols, all rest of the material is same. Alright, so this is how you can create a conference paper. Now let us see the some journal papers. So we will see first about the paper, how it looks like, then we will see the scripting language. Okay, so the journal paper has some keywords, para start, author will be there, author's biodata will be there, like I already said. You can go up to 8 pages. Now you see the document class, I am saying it's not a conference, I am saying it's a journal paper. IEEE transactions journal. IEEE is a standard template. These templates are also available on IEEE Explorer website. You can download from there also. Or some people, some publishers, if it is different, they provide their own template. So you, Springer, Elsevier, Web of Science, right? They provide their own templates if it is different. Rest of the things is same, but author's block you have mentioned, that's fine. But then you see when we start the introduction, now you see there is a command called para start. And since my first word is grid, G, right? You see grid, how I have mentioned curly brackets, G and RID. This is for a papers which is published in the journals. So there is a difference is there for journals. So few differences are already highlighted. So how a journal paper looks like. Now, not many major difference, but author's block is not the same way what you have seen. A slight difference will be there, and you can see index terms will be there, right, in journals, not in the conferences. And para start, you see grid is my first word, but G, you see how it appears, a grid with all capital letters. With a G is even a bigger font, 2 lines font. That's a one difference you can notice. And end of your paper, right, you can also have some acknowledgement, because you have worked for 2-3 years, you might have taken help from others, that you can mention in your journal papers. Okay, so that is the major difference you will notice. Finally, end of these templates is the transactions. I will create a separate session for my how to create a presentation by using Latex, that I will tell you. Okay, so let us first see the how this paper looks like. Okay, transactions paper. You can see everything is right in a multiple files, it's not in single file. Okay, Now, again, you see uh, the there is no much difference between journals and transactions, except one or two differences I will show you. Again, you see the starting para starting with all capital letters with first letter double column, sorry, double row, authors block. But now see the difference here. In journal, what happens? The affiliation, right? Sorry, the transaction. The affiliation comes below left side first column, below here, not in the authors block. Okay, so that is one difference you should remember. But anyhow, this is created by the template itself. And at the end, you have author's biography also. Is a mandatory requirement. Is also there. This is my work several years back. Okay, so transactions, let's see the main file. Okay, now you see, I said IEEE transaction A4 size, but then though it's a journal, still some of the changes are there, like I was telling about the author's block, right, your affiliation. So that will appear at a different location, right? And when you start your this thing, your paragraph of introduction, say para start, and at the end, since it's a transaction, they allow you to have biography, right, of the authors. So you see, begin biography, end biography with your photograph is also mandatory. So you have to give that. Then your end of document. So just a 2 or 3 differences as compared to the journal and transactions. So I have done my publications in the transactions. That is, and they will ask you while publishing, they ask you provide all these files, source files, right? Text files, image files, or plots, source files you should give. So 10 to 12 folders you have to create, and you should give it to them, because they are going to edit again your this thing before they publish it. And of course they will take your permission before doing that, but that's how it is. All right. So in conclusion, you have seen various documents how we have created. Learning is slightly takes time, maybe 1 or 2 days, but after that lifelong, it's a nice journey, because being a researcher, being a professional, you will be keep on creating new documents, new styles, new different publishers, but then you should not edit the styles, right? Editing your document, you should focus on your research. So latex will help you in this manner. Okay, thank you for listening.